All right, we're now live here on episode number 26 on the Greg Fernandez YouTube channel, my backup channel. If you have a black and white printer, and that's all that you really need, if you haven't gotten your copy, you can always get this, A Letter to Liberals from Robert F. Kennedy Jr. I have this on my website. You can download it right now. What is Truth 911? .wordpress.com. What is Truth 911.wordpress.com, and you can download this book for free, A Letter to Liberals. Hard to find. I think it's still on Amazon somewhere, but it's really good. RFK Jr. does have 2 new books coming out this month, at the end of this month, and then I believe in early October, maybe mid-October of 2024. And it's all about this little thing right here. Whatever you want to call this here. 2 books on that. One about the Wuhan lab, and then another one more specifically related to the five-letter word there. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. It is time to look at some things. What is Trump doing? What is RFK doing? RFK Jr. Has really been doing some amazing stuff. We're going to look at his website and see all the things that he's been up to. And of course, if you want to go directly to his website, Kennedy24.com, that's where you can go and you can check out everything that RFK Jr. is doing currently. Lots of good stuff. All right, with that said, I'm going to turn it over. I did want to talk briefly, just for a few minutes, about something. What is Donald Trump doing today? Well, today he is doing 2 different speeches. That's right. I believe he did two speeches, and he even stopped and talked to some people for about 20 minutes. Let me see if I have that right here. So you can always catch the latest of what Trump is doing. The last place on YouTube that you can trust to find anything related to Trump, really, until this goes down. And it seems like YouTube has gotten more lax, which is cool because you can actually find some of Trump's latest speeches all right there. Look at that. So we'll see how long that lasts. But if you do want to make sure that you don't miss any of his speeches, and these guys are cool, they travel along with Trump too. So, and always make sure not only to look at the video section, but to look at the live section. The live section is where they're going to have the most recent live videos. So these are all live streams. They don't put them in the same spot as the videos. So just keep that in mind in case you're looking for something and you feel like, I don't know where it is. What's going on here? So Donald Trump visits the Palmetto State Armory in Somerville. I'm just going to play a little bit of this. I don't know. This may just be 20 minutes of them kind of following Trump, watching Trump, but good stuff here if you are looking for anything on Trump. Oh, there's another great one. I may have to play a little bit of that too.
There will be a press opportunity.
So they're kind of traveling with Trump
a lot of the
here.
Focus on this particular stop will be on our.
They're following Trump right into the gun store.
Right.
Somerville, South Carolina.
And after here, we'll be heading. Is in the building here. Let's see if we can behind that. But they
get a few words from Trump.
It's doing well. Well, now it's going to do better. Look at it. They've done a fantastic job. Fantastic job. Incredible people. People of South Carolina. Incredible people. And thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
We do. We have. We sell about half what we sell is ours.
Okay, we're going to kind of move, and as this develops, so just bear with us. We're going to move in a little bit closer as we are protected by the service here to make sure we stay in the distance that we have.
Yep.
Transition over to another spot here. Make it a little bit easier for us to get around here. So we'll see if you can get in a little bit. I'll stand behind you. Let's listen into some of this conversation.
but when you're back in, you need a little help.
Talk about pistol braces.
Well, okay, there's 40 million, potentially 40 million firearms owners that are felons now under Biden's pistol razor.
Whoa.
I have one. I don't know if we can get it. So during about a decade ago, the ATF approved some pistol brace attachment from the hand. For your administration, they said sold close to 40 million. People bought them as a pistol. Biden came in. One of the first things he did was he made all those people felons. Right now, we're fighting in the court, the Fifth Circuit, the Eighth Circuit. Okay.
I have one.
You have them?
Yeah, and
Marjorie
my
Taylor
mom
Greene.
has one. And it comes from, and she doesn't
Right.
hold it. So it's good.
So not worried about inner city crime, all that,
Right.
but regular,
Mhm.
average, solid Earth Americans, they got to
That's the big deal right there. They're not worried about all of the violent crimes, violent criminals out on the street. They're worried about the good gun owners who want to go and legally purchase guns for legal things, for legal reasons, for constitutional reasons. They're the target.
That's an easy one. Great stuff.
So we have a couple of guns that were actually made here in South Carolina. I'll show you. So they're right down here. I don't know if we can.
So it's good stuff. So this is good. Go ahead and watch this full, man. I won't play the whole
Okay,
20-minute video, but
backtrack as we are live here.
These people, these are the most powerful people in the great state of South Carolina. I think I can say that very sincerely. They're fantastic people. And we have about a 44-point lead now. And we have a senator, we have a governor, and we still have that kind of a lead, right? It's nobody even close. And I think we're going to do very well. We're just looking at this store, and this store is amazing. It was built from scratch. It started in the garage about, 20 years ago, probably. And look at, and 12 years, that's incredible. Boy, you work quickly. You work quickly. No sleep, that's right. But you enjoyed it. A great job you've done. Great job. And Congressman, I just want to thank you for this job. I want to thank you for the job you've done. One of the big moments in the history of Congress, one made a long time ago. I remember that. Thank you very much. Thanks. Thank you very much, everybody. Okay? Thank you. Thank you very much.
This is the CSM reactor. We designed this from the press. We're just changing positions. We're just changing positions.
Just changing positions here. Let's come on to the side.
Right this way.
all right. So
We make the barrel. Everything is made from raw materials. And we have, depending on the feature. My absolute favorite show.
it's good
You know,
stuff
there's
here.
tar that they sell us, and we refine it in Houston. So if people believe in the atmosphere, they got a big problem. It's so horrible what's happening. Now, we'll take care of a lot of problems. That problem's easy.
Can Julian and I get a picture with you?
Yeah, come on over. Something.
And the Attorney General too. No, let the Attorney General. Let them look good.
It's a great picture.
All right, so I may come back to some more of that later on, but I always try to kind of balance this out between Kennedy and Trump here, and I got to get a Kennedy poster right here at some point, and of course I got my wanted right here, wanted for president. Good stuff. So we're riding along. Two of the most popular candidates running for the president of the United States within some people, within some powerful elitist circles, some NWO circles. These are two of the most hated people, two of the most hated candidates probably of all time. Maybe not of all time. Maybe I'm speculating there, of all time in my lifetime. That's a guess. I don't know. You would think that George Bush would be at the top of the list. He's not. He's not. He's George Bush Jr. I'm talking about specifically. I mean, senior's not so great either, but George Bush Jr. All of the stuff that he's done, that we know that he's done, and you see him and Obama, and even with Carter, George Bush, and Clinton, they're all hanging out, chilling. Barack Obama, all of them, they're all good, but they don't like Trump. Not going to find them with Trump. What makes him so different now, right? If this is just one big club and we're not in it, why are they treating Trump like this? It's one thing that I got to ask there. So moving right along, the next thing, and I'm going to play here, is just a few minutes. Actually, this first one is only like seconds, just 15 seconds. So before I get to this awesome 15-second clip, I'm going to play a few minutes of this RFK 24, his secret weapon.
Hi, I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Let's be honest, big corporations now own Washington, D.C., and increasingly they control and monetize every aspect of our lives. I'm running for president because I want to take back their power and put it back where it belongs, in your hands. Now, when you say that you're going to return power to the people and you actually mean it, some very powerful forces get scared and then they get angry. That explains the corporate media's outrage against me. But let's be clear, what they're really frightened of is you. They're terrified of the idea that Americans will be back in charge of their country.
This it really sounds very similar to what President Trump is saying. They're not after me, they're after you. It's almost just another spin, a Democratic spin on that same line.
Opponents have Wall Street, they have big tech, big pharma, big ag, and the defense contractors. But I've got something that's potentially much more powerful than all those vested interests. I have you. We're never going to match the billions that they get from corporate contributors, but with millions of small donations, we're mounting a campaign that has them running scared. And I need you to keep going. So today, I'm breaking with fundraising conventional wisdom. Most campaigns don't share their fundraising goals publicly because they don't want to be embarrassed. But we're not like most campaigns. We are your campaign. We want to raise $5 million before midnight, September 30th, to fund our ground operation. Please consider volunteer and help us expand our, and God bless America.
And at-risk individuals.
This is a good one too. This is the guy who is actually guarding RFK Jr., his team. So this is a good one. I just want to go a little bit further on this. I should probably play this. It's about a 4-minute clip. Maybe I will play this later, but I really want to get to this one with Joe Rogan here. I think this is a very powerful one. I'll come back to that guy because we need to know more about.
I wonder what would happen if Robert Kennedy Jr. got in there. Very interested to see what happens with that guy.
Yeah. Like, how are we going to get a better Democrat if you don't let the president debate? So they won't let him debate because Robert Kennedy Jr. and Robert Kennedy
like
Jr.
10. Oh, yeah.
Yes, Robert Kennedy Jr.'s
Right.
book, The Real Anthony Fauci. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
You know, and there's the idea that like Robert Kennedy would be too silver-tongued, like, stop, come on, because he's a lawyer, you know, and he's really good arguing stuff. Like YouTube is going ever since he decided to run for president. They're taking these interviews that have been up for a year plus, and they're taking them down. If RFK Jr. becomes the president, all those people working for Biden are gone, right? They know that. What do you think of RFK Jr.?
I like him personally. I've been interviewed by him.
He's a fascinating guy.
You've interviewed him, right?
Yeah, I really enjoyed talking to him. And what's really important is his work as an environmental attorney, what he did with the Hudson River. They cleaned up the Hudson River. So a lot of it based on him winning cases.
Yep.
And he really cares about people. He genuinely does. I think he's a good person. I really do.
Would you vote for him?
Yeah, I'd vote for him. Yeah, I would.
Yeah, very cool. So I don't know what's going on with that video quality there, but good stuff. Very good stuff. Okay, so that's just a piece of the puzzle, a piece of the pie there, and some really interesting, good stuff with RFK Jr. And you can see the endorsement, the Joe Rogan endorsement is really good. I don't think I can pull this up, but I will probably just kind of read this because I make sure that I get all of my stuff from Kennedy. Kennedy held a press conference September 22nd at the border, but I haven't found any video or anything from it. But I would love to, because that would be great stuff here. I don't think there was another Joe Rogan. Of course, I'm not going to be able to find it now. I mean, I try to keep up with all this, and it's just so much to it. So trying to keep up with Joe. Here it is. This was so if you are subscribed to Team Kennedy, info@teamkennedy.com will send you stuff on their mailing list. And when they say they're going to send you stuff, and they're sending you stuff every day. So you get a lot of this stuff. I probably can't really see that. Probably going to hurt your eyes there. But it just played that same clip that we just watched. And says, yesterday on a live podcast, comedian and media sensation Joe Rogan admitted that he will vote for RFK Jr. to be president in the 2024 presidential election if given the chance. Unfortunately, Rogan, who speaks to 190 million monthly listeners on his popular podcast, doesn't believe that he will fairly be afforded the opportunity. Rogan fears Mr. Kennedy's efforts to get on the ballot are being sabotaged. This is a quote from Joe Rogan. I have a feeling they've got some rascally tricks up their sleeves to keep him from ever challenging. And there's not going to be any debates, that's for sure. Rascally, that's something you don't hear every day. Rogan's cynicism is understandable, but our campaign is changing the math. Mr. Kennedy's message is resonating with people across the country in every demographic, and the upwelling of support has put him on the map despite the efforts of the party establishment to ignore him. And there you go. So that is a great little speech there. So getting back to what I want to cover, some more of what I want to cover here. I really just want to play this little clip. It's only about 30 seconds. And so I'm going to cut to that. That's 15 seconds. This is from Trump. Donald Trump was interviewed by Megyn Kelly. And I titled this one, Donald Trump 2024, RFK, and the DNC. Now, like I said, it's only a few seconds long here, but this is from September 20th, 2023. During an interview with Megyn Kelly, President Trump comments on the DNC rigging the election against RFK Jr. So I'm going to play this 15 seconds of your life. Come on.
No, it's very hard to take on the Democrat Party. Look at RFK Jr. They're not giving him the vote. I mean, they're saying you have to get a vast number of votes in order to even qualify. They're making it impossible for him. You know, they're essentially rigging the election, which they're very good at.
There it is. They're very good at it. This is a great one. This one, the audio is really hard to hear in this one. And I'll just mute that for while the ad comes on. This is about 3 minutes. Probably won't play the whole 3 minutes, but what's going on with my cursor today? But I thought this was really well done.
First of all, that's illegal. It's immoral and unethical. You got to run as an independent.
Well, at this point,
If they jam you.
if they jam me, I'm going to look at every option.
And RFK Jr. has said this a couple of times. So he keeps being asked, is he going to run as an independent? And he says in other interviews, I got to keep all options open. And if they're going to try to sabotage him, the door is he's going to always leave that door open to run as a third party candidate.
You know, in this state, the state is the template for democracy.
So I won't play. I wish I had that other clip, and maybe I can find it at some point.
No, it's very hard.
But there's so many clips. Look at these channels. I got the Greg Fernandez Jr. That's number 3. Greg Fernandez Jr. 3 down here at the bottom. Then I also have the Kennedy and Trump, and then I have the newest one, Kennedy and Trump 2024. And the one that we're on right now is Greg Fernandez Jr. So those are the 4 channels that I have. I got a few other ones, but I have a Bohemian Grove channel and then a music channel too. But these are the main ones. Just try to keep things going. And then I have the Gray Stage channel for the David Crowley issues. But just to try to keep things, try to make sure that, if things get shut down, then you know what, if people want to find the content, they want to look at some of these content, some of the deeper issues, I really wish I had the one where he talks about keeping all options open. Doesn't look like I have that up here. There are a lot of clips that I have not really put out yet because I am working on a documentary companion. Here's another third-party option. This one's good.
I think you've praised other people who are running as independents. Would you yourself ever do that?
I don't think so.
Why?
As I'm a Democrat, I really feel like the Democratic Party has lost its way. If you look at all the issues that I stand for, if you go through the issues that my father and my uncle stood for, I can go and check every one of those boxes. And those are the issues that I believe. I believe,
Now remember, that was August. So that's what he was saying in August. I want to go to his channel, and it is Team Kennedy. I believe that is his YouTube channel. Yep, Team Kennedy. And so that's where I just go there and just see what is going on. What is he talking about now? The secret weapon. The polls say that I can win. I don't think he has the one. The Democrat Party is the primary is rigged. I mean, you would think that this is all. I think this is all about Trump. So the tune is kind of changing. It really that's what it really feels like. The tune is changing. And let me see the Democrat. Yeah, that's a good one there. That looks like his Dennis Kucinich. And so far, I haven't gotten any strikes or anything like that. This one is a 4-minute. Yeah, it's a 4-minute clip there. Let me see if I can play this one. We know that the polls say that he can win. This is 1:23.
Joe Biden's just ordered a political hit on RFK Jr. And the DNC has just fixed the primary to make it impossible for him to win. Dennis Kucinich, RFK Jr.'s campaign manager, is here. Dennis, what is going on with the DNC?
Well, I can tell you what's going on with RFK Jr., and that is that Mr. Kennedy wants to make sure that every Democrat who votes in a primary, their votes will count, and that if you win a primary, that you win the delegates. I mean, I know that sounds like a novel idea, but as Mr. Kennedy has pointed out, the DNC has arranged it so they can put extra delegates in, stuff the ballot box in a primary, and effectively, even if Mr. Kennedy were to get 60, 70%, hand the election to Mr. Biden. This simple idea that if you win New Hampshire, you should win New Hampshire, you should get the delegates. But the DNC says because Mr. Kennedy campaigns in the first in the nation state, no, his votes won't count. I mean, what in the world is that about? I want everyone to think about that. You can win, and then they don't let your votes count. I mean, the truth is that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is the only Democrat who would have any chance of defeating Mr. Trump in the election.
That is so true. That is so true. And that's what this, I mean, first he has to get past Joe Biden. He's got to do that first, obviously, right? We all know that. So that was a great clip. I really like that clip. There's a few other ones here. They're a little bit longer, but I should really play. This is a good 4-minute clip here. Before I go, I will make sure to play that one. I want to get into what is happening in the world of Trump here for a few minutes. So we'll see how many viewers I lose on that. Just kidding. Let's go here. We're going to look at the news, right? And the website, 2 places, obviously, you want to follow him. Truth by President Donald J. Trump. And I like that they're doing this now because it makes it easier. I don't have to go to 4 different places, 4 different areas to find all of this stuff. They've really started putting a lot of different things right here on donaldjtrump.com/news. So this is from today, September 25th. And what you see is just him posting the stuff that you would find on Truth Social. So there's that. What he announces small business leaders. Yeah, so he is moving in South Carolina, right? South Carolina is a big deal here. All right. So then let's go and I'm going to go back here to Truth Social. I think it's a little bit better here. So some of the Look at all the people that come out for Trump. They come out for him. They ain't coming out for Biden. This is a good one. Okay, let's play it.
It's no wonder that far left lunatics are getting desperate to stop our movement by any means necessary. As you know, Crooked Joe and the radical left thugs have weaponized law enforcement to arrest their leading opponent. Me, I'm their leading opponent. I'm their only opponent. On fake and phony charges. I went through a whole life. I never heard the word indictment. All of a sudden, every day, I'm getting indicted. In fact, I'm getting a little concerned because we had a poll this weekend that was so big. I said, oh, here we go, more indictments. Every time we get a good poll, we get indicted. This is high-level election interference, and it's happening for a single reason, because I'm the only candidate they do not want to run against. You know, they talk misinformation, disinformation. They're close enough. You know, somebody said, what's the difference?
I would just say he's not the only candidate. I would put RFK Jr. in that same boat here too. And that's what the Megyn Kelly interview from just a couple of days ago is so interesting, because the more he talks about RFK Jr., the happier I get.
I said, I can tell you the difference, but they're very close. But they're very good at misinformation, disinformation. They see Trump is leading by 55 points. Think of that.
Wow.
And leading by 10 points against him. The Washington Post, ABC, 10 points. That's a lot, you know, because it's like considered a lot. It's hard for Republicans to lead by that much in the fake news media. The fake news media doesn't want to do that. But when they see these numbers, they get crazy.
Yeah, so this is from today. This happened earlier today. So I have not seen this full speech yet. I was able to watch some of it, but haven't seen the full thing. Let's see what else.
Here are some of the first steps I'll take to rescue our workers, manufacturers, and small businesses from the burning wreckage of Bidenomics. As soon as we get back into the Oval Office, we got to get back fast. I tell you, if we don't get back, I really believe this country is finished. I really believe it. I hate to say that. It's horrible.
Doom and gloom.
And Marjorie's nodding her head, and Henry's nodding his head, so I can't be the only one that thinks that. But I think this country will be finished. They're destroying our country so stupidly, so evilly. To rapidly reduce inflation, I will end Joe Biden's war on American energy and reclaim energy independence. 3 years ago, we were totally energy independent, heading over to energy dominance, right, Russell? For our next term, I've set the ambitious goal of achieving the #1 lowest cost of energy and electricity anywhere in any major industrial nation on earth, and we'll be there within 6 months. In other words, we will drill, baby, drill. We're going to be drilling. We're going to be drilling like we were doing before.
All right. So drill, baby, drill. Yeah. So, you know, it's very important that it doesn't matter if you agree with everything, and no one should agree with everything. If you can't find something to disagree with somebody on, I don't know. Only one I wouldn't disagree with on is Jesus Christ. That's about it. So, and that's just my opinion on it. So I'm just trying to play some rapid clips here, trying to keep everybody up to date, trying to keep myself up to date for the book that I am writing, Kennedy and Trump. And it definitely won't be released until at least until after the primary. I'm hoping if RFK Jr. makes it past the primary, then the book will go a lot further. So, hey, Noreen, how are you? Thank you. Good to see you. And thanks for staying up late if it's later where you are here. And I'm just playing some of the most recent clips, the most recent news here between RFK Jr. and Donald J. Trump. Donald J. Trump did another speech earlier in South Carolina. So I haven't watched the full thing yet, but there's just so much. It's hard to keep up with everything. It really is. And I'm doing my best to try to keep up with as much of this stuff as I can. And I'm sure I'm going to miss a few things here. but trying to go back and forth between these two great candidates that I believe that we have. And a lot of the, I mean, if you've been following Trump for a long time, if you've been watching his speeches, you'll kind of see, you know, he talks about a lot of the same stuff in a lot of those speeches. There's okay, so I'm just looking at some of the things that he's, I don't think I did that right. Yeah, I did. Yeah. So just focusing on Donald J. Trump there to Mr. Kennedy, because I really do want to play this. This one is only about a minute or so. This is from Twitter. I'm not a big Twitter fan, so I'm having a hard time really calling it X, but I'm going to play this here. First, I'm going to read this. This is from RFK Jr. He posted this about 2 hours ago. I hate when the video just starts playing because I have to start it all the way back over and make sure I unmute it. So this is what he says. Hi, everyone. Gavin DeBecker here again. Legacy media outlets have been falsely claiming there's nothing unusual about President Biden refusing RFK Jr.'s requests for Secret Service protection. The truth is, every single administration going back 55 years has approved early protection for rival candidates. Now, this is very important because this is something that I'm starting to hear even in like some of the more Democrat leading news media. They're starting to actually talk about this because the talking point that the Biden administration is giving out is that, oh, no, we don't do this for candidates up until I think it's like 128 days out, which is BS. That is not true at all. Based on their history, based on the facts. Let's listen to what this gentleman has to say. Now, this is the head of Kennedy's security detail, the group that stopped some crazy guy from actually trying to, well, I can't even say, I don't even know, but something weird happened. If you haven't seen the last show that I did about the guy who shows up armed with knives and everything and shows up just decked out in camo gear wanting to speak to RFK Jr. If this 1 minute clip doesn't explain it, I'm going to play the full 4 minute clip because it's very important stuff here, especially when we're talking about a Kennedy.
I'm Gavin DeBecker. The Biden administration has refused to afford Secret Service protection to Bobby Kennedy Jr. So for the first time ever, right now, a sitting president has refused formal protection requests from a rival candidate. Now, the administration has had some help in their awful decision because legacy media outlets have been falsely claiming that there's nothing unusual about Biden refusing RFK Jr.'s request for protection. They've been saying that candidates get protection only 120 days before the election. That is not true. Here's what is true. Every single administration, going back 55 years, has approved early Secret Service protection for candidates, far earlier than 120 days before the election. In fact, 3 different administrations provided early Secret Service protection for Bobby's uncle, Senator Ted Kennedy. One time it was 440 days prior to the election, and twice when he hadn't even confirmed that he was running. The Nixon administration provided early protection for his opponents, as did Clinton and 2 Bush administrations and the Obama administration. Even the Trump administration approved early Secret Service protection in 2020 for none other than Joe Biden, and that was 221 days early. Secret Service coverage has been provided in every single campaign for 55 years, but the Biden administration says no.
All right. Well, I like that one because I think originally, let me cut back to this here. Originally, there were 2 videos here, and now you can see that there's only one. I'm going to play the full 4.5 minute video here, but before there were 2, now there's only one. So let's just go boom and see what's going on.
I'm Gavin DeBecker. You can obviously learn more about me from Wikipedia or any other online source, but I want to give you a very quick introduction. I advise governments and at-risk individuals on anti-assassination strategies. I'm a 3-time presidential appointee. I served 2 terms on the President's Advisory Board at Department of Justice. I designed mosaic systems, threat assessment systems that are used to screen threats to justices of the Supreme Court and members of Congress. I developed threat assessment systems used by the U.S. Marshals Service and by state police agencies protecting governors in 12 states. My best-selling books on preventing violence are now published in 21 languages. You get the idea. My company provides protection services for many at-risk public figures, including for my dear friend and now presidential candidate, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. It's odd that we're protecting him because since 1968, presidential candidates get Secret Service protection. That started immediately after Senator Robert Kennedy, Bobby's father, was assassinated at a campaign event. Immediately, Secret Service began protecting candidates, and by Election Day that year, 12 candidates were getting protection. But the Biden administration has refused to afford Secret Service protection to Bobby Kennedy Jr. Now, an important note here, the Secret Service itself has been helpful and professional, and I have no complaint with them. They stand ready to provide the protection, but the Biden administration says no. Now, what's happened during the long months that the administration has failed to protect this candidate is super alarming, and I'm going to share just a couple of incidents that have already been public. A few weeks ago, a mentally ill intruder entered Bobby's home demanding to see the candidate, and he was arrested. It wasn't the first time that same man had been arrested for Kennedy-related intrusions. More significantly, last week, a man showed up outside a campaign event where Bobby was going to speak. And protectors from my company were observing him, and they were ready when the man went to a side entrance, identified himself as federal law enforcement, and ordered our protectors with intensity, take me to Kennedy immediately. I have to see him right now. When protectors saw that this man was carrying a handgun, they removed him from the area, isolated him, surrounded him. LAPD was called, and we handed over custody when the police arrived, and the man was arrested. In his backpack, which we screened for explosives, were more handguns, knives, and extra ammunition. A second man who'd driven him to the campaign event was also taken into custody by police. Obviously, the incident is very, very alarming. We now know that he's a strident QAnon follower. And to help us guess what he was planning, we reviewed everything we could find online and began quite an investigation. There's a TikTok video that he posted just weeks ago trying out that special new outfit that he was wearing when he made the approach at Bobby's speech with the handgun and had a fake federal badge. At one point in the video, he calls himself God's gangster. Referring to his readiness, he says, "Shit, I got it all."
And that guy has, so far, the guy he's talking about has not been charged with posing as a federal officer. I don't know what the legal terminology of that, but that's crazy. He's only been charged with a felony gun, with a felony gun charge. That's it. But he should be charged with impersonating a federal agent, a federal officer, right? I would think so.
Now, on this video, he spells out his name super carefully, letter by letter. And he says, "You'll know who you're fucking with." Near the end of the video, he says, "Take care of each other," and then adds his most chilling words, "If I don't make it back." Now, the risk in this incident doesn't take an expert. It's obvious. And despite knowing everything that I've shared with you and knowing much more alarming material that's contained in a detailed 67-page threat assessment the government received, the administration still hasn't responded to the campaign's second formal request for protection. What are they waiting for?
Yeah.
So with all that background, I'm reaching out to you today in what is probably the most unusual fundraising request ever in presidential politics. It's because they've refused to provide Secret Service protection that 30 cents of every dollar donated to RFK Jr.'s campaign has to go to security. Normally, none of it would. I would gladly pay for it all myself. He's my dear friend, and I'd like him to win. But it's not allowed. It would be considered a campaign contribution above the limit, and I've already made my campaign contribution. But you can help. You can help to continue the best level of security that we can accomplish for my dear friend through donating to his campaign. It is crazy that we have to ask the public to provide protection.
Nice.
But that's where we are.
All right. And I just want to break, because I know that my friend has to go and do a show here quickly. So I just want to break in for Noreen. Thank you very much here. She is going to be live on Revolution Radio coming up very soon. I'm going to try to share this here. This is where you can find it all right here, revolution.radio. Just go there and you will see all of the things. She's coming up right here on Studio A here in about 15 minutes or so. So thank you I'm glad you got the notification, because a lot of people don't. And she is going to be covering she says just some general topics tonight. The border, which is always a great one. the Nazis speaking in Canada. Oh, I got to see that. I got to listen to that because I believe I know who you're talking about. I've seen this going around, so I'm very curious about that. I want everybody to know her show. This is a show that I was a guest on the show. We did that was a fun show, by the way. Thank you again for having me on. The Wild at Heart RT show on Studio A, 9 p.m. Pacific time to 12. Well, you do okay, 9 p.m. Yeah, perfect. That's awesome. And Noreen also says the eerie thing about that incident with RFK Jr. is his father, RFK Sr., was assassinated in 1968 down the street on Wilshire Boulevard at the former Ambassador Hotel. It was like a couple miles from there, right? I mean, this is craziness, and they still won't give him Secret Service protection. That is really crazy. And she also says that she brought this up on the show briefly last week. Now, the archives, you can always go to the actual archives and you can download any of those past shows. It gives you everything that you need. It gives you a username, gives you a password right there. And once you put that in, then you can download the actual archives. Okay, so just want people to know that. But here in about less than about 20 minutes, just click on the Studio A button, boom, and she will be live talking and covering some very important topics. A Nazi in Canada, a Ukrainian Nazi in Canada, or another type of Nazi. Well, you'll have to tune in, I guess, to find out what that is all about. So that's good stuff there. I was on Revolution Radio actually earlier today. I was on Crip Rick's show. Crip Rick's I've Been Thinking, and I was on there with Cass and Rick, and we were talking about RFK, talking about a lot of different topics there too. So it's always fun to be on one of the last free speech radios that I think is really that we really have. Revolution Radio, revolution.radio. So make sure you go and check that out because she will be live in Studio A. You can always go to the schedule and check that out and see who is up, who is on. But Noreen will be there. And let me just plug that up one more time right there. Wild at Heart. So it's a great show. She is on YouTube too. So I think if you pull that up, Wild at Heart, it'll show up there. But if you want to catch her live, this is where you go. It's a great show. I think Billy was actually the one who helped me get onto your show, if I remember correctly. But that was fun. I know you're going to do some great work here. And I look forward to coming back on one of these days. This is actually an actual elderly Nazi. This is all part of the PSYOP. We know it. Okay, so I'm gonna have to tune in. I probably have to shut my show down a little bit early here. I usually only go about 30 minutes to 1 hour, so I should be done here in another 15 minutes or so. But just covering some of the more recent things, and I haven't been on here. And of course, this channel, I'm on my second strike on this channel. Of course. So, I'm being very extra careful about what I do so I don't get another wrist slap, because if I get one more, this channel is gone. This is my backup channel that I've had for years. I lost my main channel a while ago, but that's why I have all these other channels there too. So the channels will be more related to the specific topics, but I am looking forward to going and checking that out. So, let me see. I'm trying to look at the schedule here. Oh, no, I should probably pull this up. There we are. So this is the Revolution Radio schedule for Studio A. You can always go to their website and check that out and see who is on and when. And it's all right there. So you will see a lot of different shows. Studio A, Studio B, and then of course, they also have the Hawk's Nest, which is always good to be on. Always a fun time. So that's been a lot of fun. I've been having a lot of fun on these shows. So this is Studio A. Yeah, Studio A on Monday right there. And so that was a show that I was on right here. Crip Rick's I've Been Thinking. Oh, they put a link to the YouTube. That's pretty cool too. I like that. And so coming up next will be Wild at Heart. So there you go. We're looking forward to that. But if you just want to go and check out all of their different shows and what topics that they cover, it may be one of the very last free places for freedom of speech, unfortunately, which is sad. All right, so thank you, my friend. Hope you have a good show there, and we'll definitely be tuning in. She says here, oh, my YouTube is not live, but does have some of my shows on it. Noreen's Helping Hand, Wild at Heart is the name of my YouTube show. Thanks again, Greg, for what it's all. That's right. Keep it up. Keep up the great work, and definitely want to hear what you have to say about what's going on, especially at the border. Man, the border issue. Whew, don't even get people started on that. It's too much, but it's always good to hear, and I'm always curious to hear people's thoughts about the border issue and immigration, illegal immigration. Really, not migrants. These are illegal immigrants. Really, here, right? I mean, it doesn't mean that all illegals are bad people. It doesn't mean they're all criminals or gangsters or anything. But it seems pretty simple. You either come through legally or you don't. To me, that seems very, very simple. And I'll just keep it at that. And this censorship is just too much. It really is. It's interesting how they've kind of backed off on some of the issues that we used to get flagged on. A lot of the voter fraud stuff, I haven't seen too much of that. It's usually now medical misinformation. So I get flagged on more Kennedy videos now than I do on Trump videos, which is pretty interesting. Kind of shows who they it maybe shows who they hate more. And it does seem like they want to go after Kennedy a little bit more. And then, like I was talking about on Crip Rick's show earlier today, well, now you have this other guy named Jesse Ventura who was thinking about running as a libertarian. And woof, wouldn't that really mess everything up? I mean, what would they do then? Heads would spin. That would be great, I think. I don't know. It's all just and maybe a lot of people don't take it seriously or just think it's all smoke and mirrors, and maybe it is. Maybe it's just all for show, but it's some good entertainment, I believe, if nothing else. So with that said, I am going to see if I can find maybe a few more clips here, if there's any short clips. And this is part of the problem, is because like I said, I'm working on something with this. But I did write a article about this crazy dude, this armed man arrested outside of the RFK Jr. event, which is just still so frustrating and nuts. The whole thing is crazy. So let me see if I can find maybe just one other short clip. Of course, all the clips that when I want to find them, I can never find them. There's some good stuff in this Forbes interview, a lot of good stuff there. But it just kind of sucks because with RFK, I got to be careful now about what I play and what I don't play. Everybody's probably heard the Tucker Carlson one, where seems like they're going after him. There was another short clip. I probably don't even have it queued up, so maybe I'll save that for next time. And we're going to see. Let's see what happens next. What are they going to do next? Who are they going to go after? The presidential debates are also coming up, but I think what I'll do here is I want to end this with some of the things from Kennedy24.com. Kennedy24.com. A lot of great articles on here. Click on the news section. There's interviews, there's news articles, and there's press. Those are the three main things. So I'm just going to go here to the news coverage, because look at this news coverage. RFK Jr. attacks Biden's disaster border policy, calls it unsustainable. This is from the 22nd, September 22nd. So I'll take a look at this here. All right, so and what I'm really looking for is some of the clips or something from his actual press briefing. I mean, this may be something. We got something here. Okay, I don't think people can see this, so sorry about that. I'm gonna go and share this
Going to
sound.
be you know, a lot of people say that while President Biden is surrounded by by very good people who will run the country, even if he
It's one
can't.
thing or the other. Either the video doesn't play or the audio doesn't play. All right, third time is a charm here. Let's kick it. Come on. There we go.
You know, a lot of people say that while President Biden is surrounded by by very good people who will run the country, even if he can't. But I don't think that's a good way for democracy to work. And you know, unelected people and lanyards are going to be making critical decisions at a very, very difficult time in our history. And that it's important for the American people to know that their president has the vigor to handle this very rigorous job. And I think there are enough doubts about that now that President Biden really needs to come out and have unscripted meetings and interactions with voters, that he needs to do some town halls and some retail politics and hopefully a debate so that the American people can make a choice about whether or not the president is up to the job.
There we go. Make sure the president is up to the job. The president needs to be up to the task. And I do believe, and hopefully you do too, that we got a guy, two guys at least, but one or the other, one of them has got to be up to this task. And I think Trump and Kennedy can handle this. We'll see. Only time will tell, only God knows for sure. So let me go back and see other news coverage. So just reading off some of these from Newsweek. It's another one. Biden's border policies have made every U.S. citizen a border town. Let's see if there's any. I mean, where's this video? I really want to see it. So the full the op-ed is good. The op-ed is good on RFK Jr., where he is talking about the border policy. And let me see if this is the one. I don't think it's going to have it. I really hope they will. Oh, they do have it. Okay, that's great. So this is a 4-minute audio clip, and this is going to kind of break it down in 4 minutes. I'm just going to play this audio clip here. This is RFK Jr.'s. RFK Jr. wrote this on 9/22/2023. This is his opinion piece for Newsweek called "Biden's Border Policies Have Made Every U.S. City a Border Town." Let's listen in. Oh, of course. Oh, just a quick word. See, get me? There's our first ad here. Okay, so unfortunately, you probably didn't see the video or anything, but I think you get the idea of what that was. So let's now go back. There is another one. Oh, this is a good one. Joe Biden faces disastrous defeat if RFK Jr. runs as a third-party candidate. I did want to cover this because I didn't see this before. According to the Rasmussen Report survey, 41% of Democrats, 41% of Democrats have at least somewhat favorable view of Kennedy, along with 56% of Republicans and 49% of those without party affiliation. In total, 49% of likely voters view Kennedy favorably, including 14% for very favorably. Speaking to Newsweek, Kennedy campaign spokesperson said, quote, "The fact that President Biden is so unpopular that fully a third of Democrats would vote for an independent candidate in the general election underscores the importance of running a fair and competitive primary election. If the DNC fails to do that, it will likely be saddled with a weak candidate who lacks the popular appeal to defeat the Republicans, whether or not there is a strong third-party candidate in the race." Excellent. That's it. That is exactly it. So those are some of the latest news coverages. You can always go here and you'll find tons of articles, and just a great way to keep up. Eric Clapton raises $2 million for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. campaign in California. Boom, especially in California, right? Because we know they're not really, they don't really like. California is a strange place. And let's look at some of the latest interviews. I don't know if there are any that we haven't touched on here. RFK Jr. criticizes Biden's border policies. So this is what is this a Fox News? Okay. Yeah, let me see.
Considered going solar in Idaho, but are afraid of the.
I'll try to share this one. How long is 3 minutes? Okay, that's a great way to end this show, I think.
Jr. seems to be the only Democrat trying to do something about migration. He's down in Texas tonight, and he joins me now. So you just heard AOC and the president say they're just trying to match third world workers with American companies. What's wrong with that, RFK Jr.?
Man?
It's just a business plan.
Well, there's nothing wrong with it if it's legal immigration. The problem is the open border is not a way to do that. And I understand that a lot of the Democrats promoted this policy at the beginning of the Biden administration out of a humanitarian impulse, but it's been a catastrophic failure. It's caused a humanitarian crisis at the border. Our border policies are now being administered by the Mexican drug cartels. We brought 7 million illegal immigrants into this country over the past 3 years. And most of them, by the way, when I went down there, Jesse, we only ran, I interviewed about 300 immigrants coming across. Only 2 of them, the 2 groups from Latin America, had any kind of asylum claims. The rest of them said, we're just here to work. It's fine to bring people here to work. We ought to have an open gate. We ought to have open gates that encourage legal immigration and make it an easier path to citizenship. But just to open the borders, there's no country in the world that can do that and survive. And,
but RFK, we talk about
Eric Adams.
Yeah, we talk about how it's a humanitarian crisis for the migrants. Yes, it is, but it's becoming a humanitarian crisis for the American people. Do the Democrats in Washington see either of those things?
I don't think that President Biden sees it. He's doubling down on this policy. He announced this week that he's giving amnesty to 470,000, only almost 500,000 Venezuelan immigrants who've come across over the last 3 years. And this is a really bad message. What that's going to do is going to drive a new tsunami of immigration, because people are now going to say, oh, if we come across illegally, we are going to get a path to citizenship. It's not the way to conduct an immigration policy. It's doubling down on a very, very bad policy. As you said, Mayor Adams, Eric Adams, who's the mayor of New York, has said this is killing New York. This is going to destroy the city. It is crushing the social service systems. The cost so far to New York City has been $12 billion. There's 110,000 illegal immigrants in the city. They have nowhere to go. They cannot work. It is a disaster for everybody who lives in the city. And now what this policy has done is to turn every city in this country into a border town. We have to have orderly immigration into this country. This is not the way to conduct it. And what we did today is to call on all Democrats to unify with Republicans and independents and ask President Biden to reassess this experiment on the border, because it has been a disaster for our country.
It has been, and I hope he listens. I'm not sure he will, but I really hope he listens, because we need to figure this out fast before it's too late.
Well, there you go. Yeah, we sure do. And it's interesting. The one clip, because I've been trying to gather all these different clips for a long kind of a documentary type video that will just be mostly just clips of RFK Jr. and Donald J. Trump talking about all these important issues and how their views are very similar. And one thing on the border that I got to find, it was from a town hall. And RFK said, look, as a Democrat, I didn't want to believe that what Trump was saying was actually true. And he came to find out that everything Trump was saying about the border was true. It was true. And in the end, RFK actually agreed with Trump about the border. So I'm going to go and find that clip, because that's a very powerful, important clip that I want to add to some future. It'll be in the book. I mean, the book is moving along very, very well. It's just at the same time, I'm trying to kind of document clips, because it's going to be difficult for me a year from now to go back and try to gather all these clips. It's a lot easier if I try to do it as I'm doing it, and maybe that can actually help me with the book in case I miss something. There's just so much to cover. There's so much to cover, but God bless you all. Thank you all for joining me here. And until next time, remember, Jesus Christ loves you. Never give up. Never lose hope. There is always hope. God bless you. Till next time.